live yet?
Yeah,
Let's go. Alright, ready to run it?
Here we go.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Motivated Mindset Podcast. I'm here today with Chandler. My name is Nico, and we have Lizzie as well.
Hello.
Chandler's going to be talking to us about rebuilt meals and a little bit about his journey and his process and what he's done to get where he's at. So how's it going today, Chandler?
Oh, it's going fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your company and a little bit about how you got started and what you're doing.
I actually fell into this company by accident, and it was just really hitting a low point financially and just struggling to find money. I had an online marketing company that I was trying to launch, and it was basically built around building sales funnels. And during that time, I was generating no revenue. So I had online personal training clients and a couple friends that I was training, a couple friends I was training in the area. And one of them approached me and he goes, "Why don't you just cook my food for me?" Because I gave him all the tools in the world to succeed, but the hardest thing was for people to cook. He's like, "Why don't you cook the food for me?" And I was like, all right. I was already prepping the food for myself, so it didn't really matter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, didn't take much of a stretch. So I started cooking the food for him, and then he told one friend and told another friend, and it was really word of mouth. Within 1 month, I had 10 people I was cooking food for. And I only had to cook 1 day a week, so I was making $1,000 in a day. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I'm just going to work 1 day a week for the rest of my life while cooking for my friends. And then again, just word of mouth kept growing the business essentially. And that was probably what, I kind of realized. I was like, I have something here. Like, people are receptive to my food. They're receptive to me, and they're talking about it. And I'm just building organic customers.
Right.
And that's kind of, I started in the kitchen, in a single home family kitchen. It was just me every Sunday going to the grocery store and cooking. And then it slowly, my girlfriend joined in with me and she helped me cook. And then it went from having just her and I inside a kitchen to where we are now, obviously with a lot of trial and error in between. Now we have, 26 employees and are just hitting record-breaking months, month after month after month.
That's awesome. How do you go about breaking those record-breaking months, month after month?
Oh.
You're still pretty new, right?
Yeah, so we've only been in the market now for 18 months.
Okay.
And it's really just understanding the customer and what they really want. That's something that we always ask, is we always follow up with our customers and kind of ask them, what is something that you would like us to see? And really listening to them and giving them pretty much what they want. Almost everything what they want, because if they want everything, they all want free food. But,
right.
Nice. So are you taking requests for like menu requests and stuff like that? Or are you giving them options, or how are you going about getting the feedback?
Yeah, so we have a team of people that they do follow-up calls with all of our current customers. We also use social media, which is probably the best tool that we have with marketing. People eat with their eyes. So, if you can post if you can post amazing pictures of food and get them drooling, then you already have their interest right there. But we do a lot of surveys where we send out email surveys, but the best one has been physically actually calling them and talking to them on the phone. People want to feel connected with a brand and with a company. Mm-hmm. And if you can physically talk to them, or verbally, talk to them, and just pick the brain a little bit and ask them, hey, how are you guys doing? What are some of your goals? And take a genuine interest in them, which all of our staff members, team members do. They take genuine interest in our customers. They'll be more than happy to tell you everything that's on their mind, whether it be positive or negative. And we all have a peace of mind knowing that the relationship between our brand and our customers is so strong that we don't get offended by anything that might be negative, and we know they're not going to leave us for a competitor, because we're a brand, not just a product.
Right.
And people, they, if you're a brand and you just try to be better than what you were yesterday, you'll continuously grow, and people feed off that genuality and they want to be a part of that growing process. But if you're a product, you're competing against all the other products out there. you're going to get beat by price all day long. And I think the most important thing with being a brand is connecting with your customers or your clients.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I was gonna ask. So this is based off of like a subscription type model, like you pay every month and it renews, or like how do you model this business out?
So the way that we did it was first, obviously again, it was trial and error, trying to figure out the right system that actually worked for us. But yes, so people they see us, they hear about us, however it is that they find out about us, they go online and they pick a particular meal plan that's right for them. And we have different steps to narrow down that meal plan so they get them on the right one. And then when they sign up, it's subscription based. So there's no ties or anything like that. You're not built into a contract, but it's every month or every week they get billed and automatically get meals sent. And that we found, because before what we were doing was we were hunting them down every single week saying, hey, we need to collect your payment.
Right.
Hey, we need to collect your payment. Do you want to sign up this week? And we found that we were spending 25 hours just asking our current customers if they want to sign up again for the next week. And 90% of them were like, yeah. So that's how we, it's a real simple plugin that we put on our website that allowed reoccurring payments. Right. So that way they have the peace of mind knowing that they're always going to have the meals delivered to them. They can stay on track for their goals. We have the peace of mind knowing that we don't have to go running around town trying to collect payments through 16 different payment portals.
Right, exactly. And then how many subscribers do you have now, or ballpark?
Now we are, I would say, a little bit over 200.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So that's 200 people that every single day, Monday through Friday, they're eating your meals, or even on the weekends, or just Monday through Friday, or how exactly are the meal plans playing out?
You can set up the meal plan multiple different ways. So it all just depends what's right for them. That kind of goes back also to trying to figure out what it is that customer and client wants. If you give them too many, we found also that if you give them too many options, they get overwhelmed and they just will never make a decision.
Yeah.
They'll always be on the fence.
Decisions are hard these days.
Yeah. And we found that we tried giving them 5 different decisions and you overwhelm them so much and they're just like, their brain blows up and they're like, well, let me think about it. And that's like probably the worst. That's worse than hearing no, because no, at least you know that they're not interested. When they say, let me think about it, you're like,
waiting there.
There's something that they're not communicating with you, and you got to dig a little deeper to find out what it is. And a lot of times it's just because people feel overwhelmed. I guess the best analogy I could say is like if I go to, a certain restaurant and they have 6 pages of menu items, I freak out. I'm like, I'm just going to close my eyes, pick one, and show the waiter. And I'm like, that's what I want. I don't know what it is. Just give it to me. There's too much going on here. Yeah. But, I went out to dinner last night and they had 6 menu items. Super easy, 6 super diverse different menu items. So taking that knowledge, I was getting a little off on a tangent there, but going back to that, instead of giving them 5 options, you want to be able to control their direction of how they're making their decision, but also making sure it's the right decision for them. We only give them 2 options, and it's either a 5-day or a 7-day plan that they can choose from. So, if we have a system that we've put in place that works perfectly for the 7-day and perfectly for the 5-day, because if we had 5 or 6 different systems, the logistics of trying to set that up is very, very difficult. Yeah. Making sure it's seamless.
Exactly,
anyway. So giving them the power to decide, but also not giving them too many options to where they will never decide.
Right. That's insightful, for sure. Definitely. So just to give everybody a little bit of idea of how many meals a week 200 clients is. So we're talking 3 meals a day, right?
Yes.
So 3 meals a day.
Some even go up to, it's endless. They want 10 meals a day.
You're doing a minimum of 15,000 meals a week, pushing at that number. So what kind of scaling have you had to do in your kitchen based on that growth? Because, at first for me, I was like 200 clients. That doesn't really sound like a lot. But then when you think about it, as you're pushing out 15,000 meals in a week for 200 people, it's definitely a bigger number. Are you guys having problems with the kitchen? How are you dealing
handling
with
that? Yeah.
Yeah. So to correct it a little bit, 15. It's 2,500 to 3,000 meals a week. Okay. Not 15,000. 15,000 is good. We'll be there. We'll be there next year.
My bad.
Yeah. I saw where you went.
Overthinking.
The kitchen is there's not a lot of meal prep companies out there. I mean, there is, but there's really not. And the ones that you see, a lot of them aren't doing big numbers, so it's a new process. If I wanted to find out how to start a grocery store, I'm going to go invade Publix and Winn-Dixie and see what they've done in the past, and I'll be like, okay, perfect. I know how to I'll model their exact model. For us, it's kind of just innovating constantly on the way and finding new ways, and something that's been truly helpful for me. And I've been blessed to have people come into my life that have restaurant experience. Even other meal prep companies have allowed me to go in and tour their facility and see how they do things. I've been linked up with just the right people that have different ideas. And every single week after week, we're innovating new systems, new ways to find different processes that will make the system go faster, more seamless, maybe more easy. Luckily, we have a very smart executive chef and we have a really good team. You know, the culture inside of the kitchen, they all work together. So it's not like they're just coming in to make food and they're leaving. They're coming in and they're strategizing with each other to be like, okay, this system works, but let's move you two in each other's positions, swap you guys around. And that might increase the process by maybe 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes is 5 minutes saved because every minute is $1 for the most part, you know. So they're always strategizing and sitting down after a shift or before a shift and figuring out what they did the day before and trying to make it better. And even if there's nothing to make, even if it's the most perfect system in the world, we still sit down and say, that's how I always open up my meetings, because I have a weekly meeting with them every Tuesday, and I say, how can we be better? What is it that what are we doing? How was last week? We do a recap, and then what can we do better? And we have an open discussion between everyone and just brainstorm ideas. Someone takes notes and listens.
That's really cool. So as far as the company climate, I'm seeing like a really good move that you're making with company climate. You know, you're setting the tone for positive reinforcement, and you're also setting the tone for constructive criticism to grow and to get your entire team on board with, you know, the mission at hand. So is that climate something that just happened, or is that something that you intentionally created in the company?
It's funny that you actually say that, because like I had a conversation with Jazz last night, and we were thinking, like, it was never my true intentions at first to have, and you're saying like the culture inside of the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, it was never my intention to have like that strong of relationships and culture inside of the kitchen. But there was one day that I remember, and it's fresh in my mind now because I was talking about it last night. But it was when we had our first 3 employees. We're still cooking in a single home family kitchen. There was 6 of us in there. Or 5 of us in there. It was me, Jasmine, and 3 other people. And there was a conflict between 2 of them. And I literally told everyone to stop what they're doing, come into the kitchen. Because, you know, we're spread out all over the place between working on an outdoor grill and like in the dining room portioning meals. Like It was insane, like the operation we had going on. So you could say we've grown a lot, to say the least. But I brought everyone into the thing and I go, okay, we're clearing the air. What is going on? What's up? And they're like, well, this, and this. And they start breaking down like all these things that's going on, you know, in the kitchen. And I go, okay. What's going on in your personal life? Like I literally just like dissected exactly what was going on in all their minds. And then I pretty much, we all talked it out. And at the very end, I said, listen, no bad vibes, 0 bad vibes. And like everyone just started laughing and cracking up. And it was just like that minute is when it clicked, where it was like, no bad vibes. And like now our biggest phrase inside the company, or one of them, because we have multiple, but one of them is, you know, vibes, because we can all feel energy. We can all feel vibes. We can all read someone without anyone ever saying a word. And vibes and energy, in my opinion, you know, are transferred into the food. If you are in a bad mood and you're cooking food, you're going to essentially, you know, you're going to not be paying as much attention to that food. So you're not going to be putting your best hand forward in that food. The client's going to taste it. So they're going to taste that and it's going to set them off. So no bad vibes trickles all the way down to our customers. So if you have good vibes inside the kitchen, then you're going to have a good product. So I realized at that point that it was extremely important for us to keep real strong culture inside. And I worked in the kitchen every single day for the first 6 to 7 months of the company, and these guys became my family. Like every single person in the company is family to me, and I care about all of them dearly. And I had a meeting with them this morning and pretty much told them, I go, I love that we're bettering everyone else's lives, but I can't better someone else's lives if your guys' isn't great right now. So if there's anything that I can do to make your life better, let me know. And I think we've made a very safe environment for them to all be able to communicate with each other no matter what. The first thing they do when they come in is let's clear the air. And if you had, because, if you've had a flat tire and your engine blew up or something like that, and you come into work and you're irritated, no one knows that happened to you. And if you're irritated, you might think it's something that they did to set them off. And it just throws off the whole, system of the kitchen. So that's the first thing they do when they come in is just, let's clear the air. How's your personal life? How's everything going with you? Good. If they want something good they're happy about, they'll talk about that. Something they're pissed off about, they can talk about something that they're pissed off about. And again, like I said, that just creates that safe nest where they don't ever have to worry about being judged on who they are as a person, and they can express themselves.
I mean, it sounds like you're becoming the psychologist of the company. The business owner or the therapist, right?
I'm more of a therapist. I would definitely say more of a therapist. Just making sure everyone's happy at all times in some shape or form. There you go. You can call me Dr. Chan now.
So how do you get to that point though? Because you see so many business owners that are running around freaking out because all their employees are a mess. How do you translate that into like an action plan for somebody who maybe isn't comfortable with stopping everybody and having a conversation and a dialogue and to try to really figure out what's going on there? Like, how did you get to the point where you wanted to understand your employees? What was there an aha moment? Or deciding moment?
I think it was that moment right there that I was just telling you about where I just genuinely cared about what was going on in their life. And I genuinely was concerned about their personal mental health. And I saw how much the environment in the kitchen changed after just simply sitting with them and talking to them.
So just feeling that negative energy circulating around.
Just immediately confronting it.
How were you able to like push your own feelings aside? Like what was your first feeling that you got off of that situation?
I was very uncomfortable. Like I was extremely uncomfortable. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, shit. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know if someone's gonna start swinging, because it was a very intense moment, like to where I was about to have all of them walk out, and I was probably gonna finish cooking by myself. And so I was just basically like, I don't know if they're gonna walk. I don't know if they're going to start swinging at each other. I don't know if they're gonna start swinging at me. I don't know what's going to happen. But I knew at that exact moment that the only option I had was to basically confront it. And one of my biggest mottos is just get comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you can get comfortable being uncomfortable, uncomfortable situations never come up anymore. Like it's more uncomfortable for me to be in a comfortable state because I feel like there's something wrong. Like I've been uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Matrix.
Yeah. You don't know what's real and what's not real at that point. So like for us, it's just like that was the biggest moment, was that individual moment, I think, is that switched us. And throughout, you always have quantum shifts in your company where you just realize that is something that needs to stay in. And the best thing the best word of advice that I can possibly give someone is just genuinely care about your employees, because they are your product. They are your brand. Absolutely. They are everything that you're working for, because you can't be successful on your own. You have to have a team of people that you're going to be successful with. And when you're choosing the people that you want to bring into your company, you're choosing them to grow with you. And you want them to be successful in their life. And I understand that most of these people that are on the team and working with us, they might not be with me for the rest of my life. As far as, with Rebuilt, they're always going to be a part of me in my life outside of work, but they might not be with Rebuilt for the rest of their life. And if they do, that's amazing. But if they don't, that's okay. I want to help guide them the best way I possibly can. And again, I think they understand that I genuinely care, and that everyone in the upper management genuinely cares about them. And then everyone just feels very good about where they work. And I think that's what gives off a very, very good product, is just genuality. Yeah. And, we are just very open and communicative with each other. And if there's beef, that's going to be squashed I mean, sometimes we're yelling at each other and screaming at each other, but that's the same thing. Like if you look at married couples, like they scream and yell at each other, boyfriends and girlfriends scream and yell at each other, best friends do the same thing. But at the end of the day, you know, you can still hug it out and be friends because you know that, you know, you're just communicating and that's how we communicate. So yeah, I mean, like I said, just genuinely caring is the best thing, and it goes for your customers as well.
Have you always cared that much, or is this something that you had to learn?
I think it was something more I had to learn.
He used to be heartless before.
It was no. I mean, I've always had a sense of caring, but I was more of a selfish mind. And don't get me wrong, we all have, you know, selfish mindsets at some point in time, and you know, they all throughout our life, you know. Yeah, it's just it was something that I just realized that was important, so I educated myself and I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I mean, like, YouTube is the best tool in the world to learn how. You want to learn how to change an engine, just go onto YouTube and they'll show you step by step. Right. Or if you want to learn how to reprogram someone's mindset, they'll teach you how to do that also. Yeah. So, like, I dropped out of college, so I didn't really have, like, at that point when I dropped out of college, I didn't have a lot of things to look at to learn from. I didn't have any mentors at the time. So YouTube was like my best friend. So everything in my life that I learned how to do, from decorating my home and learning how to dress, like, and matching clothes to running a company, was honestly, a lot of it was learned on YouTube. And I'm not saying only use YouTube, because there is multiple different avenues to learn, but YouTube was very, very important for me. And, you know, I listened to different speakers about team culture, and I read different books. You know, really good book that I really recommend is Simon Sinek, and it's called Start With Why. He has a series of books. You know what I'm talking about? We talked about this, right? It's
insane that you're starting to talk about that, because I was literally just going to bring that up in my
I felt the energy and the vibe. I have our neurotransmitters were connecting in some way. Yeah, and you know, that's a great book to start with, is Simon Sinek, Start With Why, because he talks about just, again, genuinely caring and building that culture from the inside of the company. And, you know, our company was growing by word of mouth. 70% of our revenue, or 70% of our customers, are from word of mouth. You know, we spend marketing dollars all over the place, but our organic growth is from word of mouth. And I contribute that to building a strong infrastructure of culture inside the company. And if you want to keep going back, peel the onion back another layer, I think my foundation was built from Simon Sinek, and understanding why it's important and what our company's true, you know, why is.
So I know you've touched on it a little bit, but if you had to, like, summarize it into a mission statement, what is your why? Like, if you could describe, you know, who is Rebuilt and what is Rebuilt. When I sign up and I say, all right, I want 3 meals every day this week, who are you? Why are you? So what is your why, and what was, you know, maybe the journey that you got to get to your why?
You know, the why it's always changing, I guess. But there, I mean, as far as, like, I guess, a detailed one, but the biggest thing is that we all just want to help people. Somehow, some way, we want to help people, and we don't know how we're going to do it, but we know we're going to do it. And it started with food, and food is the best. Like, you know, obesity is a huge epidemic here in America right now, between having food so readily accessible everywhere you turn around, and smells, and, like, it's very tempting to, you know, just go out for lunch and go sit down at Chili's every single day, or wherever it is that you guys want to go for lunch, and not realize how much money you're spending and how much lack of nutrient food dense, I don't know how to word that exactly, but there's a lack of nutrients in your food, and it's causing people to get obese. So the biggest thing is that we know we're providing healthy meals to people to help better their life. And it all starts with the food, because that's the gasoline, that's the fuel that we put into our body. So if you're eating healthy, it's going to start with the body. And then our next shift, what we're going to be focusing on 2018, is really helping people shift their mentality and develop strong mentality, and kind of, you know, just be better all around people in general. Because if you're eating bad, it affects your hormones inside your mind. It can cause depression, and, you know, depression at its worst state, we know exactly where that can lead to.
Right.
And if we can help someone on the food level and possibly save 1, 2, 3, 4 lives, our job is done. Like, if I can just help one person, which I'm very fortunate to be able to help, you know, 200 clients plus the employees, or plus the team members, my job is done. But now I'm at the point where I want to help more.
So 200 clients, I mean, that's a lot of people's diets that you're taking into account. So your executive chef, what kind of training and skills do they have as far as like bringing the nutritional values to the table?
So, there's a lot of research that's done into the food, and honestly, I make sure that when we first established, I made sure I did a lot of research on all the food that I was offering all of our clients to only offer the most nutrient-dense foods that we possibly could. There's still a lot of steps that we want to do to make it even better, like, going organic and like going to local farms and being able to use their produce. But, it's one step at a time. And our executive chef, she uses basically the outline that we set up, and over the past couple months, she's been learning about nutrition. She's heavily in the fitness industry, and everyone inside of the company, for the most part, is health conscious, and they have a good background on what it is that needs to be put into the body to fuel it properly.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it seems like your why and the ingredients that you're using for your foods, the stuff that you're thinking about, the company culture, seems like it's all kind of coming back to that why of like self-improvement. So, I mean, this is obviously something that you live by. So how important do you think that is for every company? I mean, granted, you got the meal company, so the energy that goes into the food is super important, but do you think that kind of idea could transfer into other businesses? Or do you think that it's even important for other businesses that aren't doing food?
To have... say that again one more time. Sorry, like my mind blanked out halfway through. I was catching up, and I'm like, hold on.
My questions are like,
yeah. Hold on. Say it one more time.
All right. So you're feeding 200 people a week minimum, and it seems like a lot to do with your company is not only to put into the quality of the food, but also the quality of the thoughts and the energy and everything. So that all ties back into your why of self-improvement, right?
Yes. Yep.
So. Is that something that you think every company needs, or you think that's just something that maybe applies to rebuild in the food industry? Or
if
thoughts on that?
If your employees' happiness is important to you, or your team members, I say use employee and team members, because sometimes people don't understand what I'm talking about when I say team members, but we refer to everyone as a team. If that's important to the person running the operation, then I think self-improvement's drastically important. Growth in life in general equals happiness. If you're not growing, if you're staying stagnant and just not developing as a person, you can start to feel complacent, and then you start kind of feeling, just like you're not doing something better. And then that just kind of leads to unhappiness, depression. And when you get into those state of minds, your productivity drops drastically. And for us, the food, we can't deliver good food when all of our employees are depressed, or all of our employees are happy, or they're just in an okay mood. So, there's a company, Lululemon. If you guys are familiar with the clothing line at all, they're huge into personal development and making sure that all of their employees, even though a lot of them are part-time, and they're probably going to be working with them for 6 months or the seasonal work, it's very important for them to know what their 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals are, and to help them achieve those goals. And, they're very successful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you that, like, the more, even in my personal life, I don't know about you and you, I'm sure you guys would agree with me, but the more you grow, the more you have that, like, that sense of well-being. And, I've been lucky enough to be at a couple employers that actually wanted the employees to grow themselves, and they made you feel like coming to work was, something that you're doing not only for yourself, but you're also doing for the rest of the people around you.
Right.
And I really respect you for that. I mean, I think that's major. And I mean, the question was kind of a loaded question, because I think this is crucial in any company. I mean, I don't see a company that doesn't want to grow their employees. I don't see that how do they expect to grow if they're not helping their employees grow. I mean,
that's the dude in the other end of the head. It's for when I started, it was just like I just wanted to make money. I was honestly like the first thing I needed money. I was borrowing like thousands of dollars from friends and family, my girlfriend. Like I was in debt. I sold my truck to pay back, like my vehicle to pay back all those debts so I can be clear.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the why just started growing. And then I started seeing how, I guess I've always been a very upbeat type of person, and seeing how upbeat other people would get when they were around me kind of made me feel good. So then I started taking like a more genuine interest in just trying to make them better. And it's just been, you know, nothing but rewarding seeing people grow. And there's one person in our company in particular that I've seen grow tremendously just in the past, you know, year of when he was actually our first employee. And she was a great person, you know, the whole time, but just seeing how her mentality has changed and thinking to where now she wants to open up her own business and she wants to grow and develop and be better and better and better. And that makes me happy, seeing someone else that I had an impact on where they can consistently grow. And I think that's like, for me, it's just, I'm super, super passionate about just helping other people. And
but there is also a sense of a selflessness, and there also is a small amount of selfishness, right? Because so you're growing her, but at the same time, you know that as she grows, she's going to continue providing more and more for the company, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
What kind of shift have you seen in her performance? Not only in her personal life, but has her performance changed as far as how she's cooking and interacting with other people at the job?
Yeah, it's not even measurable.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, it went from one side of the spectrum to not knowing if she was going to be with us anymore and if we were going to have to let her go, to being, you know, a top performer. So that's, you know, that's an eye opener for me. It's very, very important to help to, you know, have that interest with someone.
Nice. And you guys offer donuts every week with your meals, I heard?
Oh, the secret's out. Dude, so yeah, they're fantastic. I should have brought some. I don't know why. I was just at the kitchen. Why did I not bring any food for you guys?
Oh, no, man. This
I was,
purple bacon.
I guess you guys have to pull me back in, and I'll make a trip down here. Show me around the building. It's nice.
For sure.
Nice
So,
building,
just in short, are you doing anything for marketing and advertising, or where have you found yourself really succeeding in marketing?
Marketing. You know, there's a few different forms. You know, marketing-wise, you can do it organic, where you can physically pick up the phone and call your customers, and then, you know, just pull referrals from them. Since we have such a strong client base, as far as when I say strong, I mean loyal client base, all of our customers would be more than happy to give us 2 or 3 referrals of someone that they think they would benefit from the meals. And that's what we do. We call them and say, you know, is there anyone else that you think, you know, obviously you start conversation, take interest in them and see where they're at and see if there's anything that you can do to help them. And then once they're taken care of, then you go for the ask, and you ask them, you know, who is it that, are you doing this alone, is the most popular question that I do. Are you doing this alone? And no one wants to do anything alone. Everyone wants to do something together. So a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm doing it alone. Like, is there anyone that you've been trying to get, you know, to come to the gym with you or to get on this plan with you? And, you know, so it doesn't sound like, so just like, hey, I need 2 referrals.
Hey,
you
like,
owe me 2 referrals.
Right.
I've given you so much.
Yeah.
You know, just genuine, because you want to see them succeed. And if someone else, because I physically can't be there for them, and I can only call them so many times, and they can only watch so many YouTube videos. So, you know, if you say there's someone else that you want to jump on board with you, or that would want to help you, you know, what's your name and number? Maybe I can help entice them a little bit more. And that's kind of like what we do, is just the referral base.
It kind of reminds me of Gary Vaynerchuk in one of his books called Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Oh, yeah.
Similar idea. You give, and then you ask. I mean, it seems so simple.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
A lot of people, they always want to take. And then they're like, what about the give? They forget about the give. But yeah, and then like as far as actual marketing dollars, you know, I practice something called omnipresence. Have you guys heard of it?
Absolutely. Trying to be everywhere at all the time.
Yes. So we just bought a ton of shirts with a big logo. I didn't care what the style looked like. I just wanted a big
logo.
I wanted a big logo on the front of it and our hashtag down the back so they can look us up. And we flooded the marketplace with shirts.
That's awesome.
You know, and that was in the beginning. We don't do that anymore. Now it's like fun to be able to give people these shirts because they wear it with pride. Before it was a marketing tactic. Now it's, you know, we're getting, you know, people are just excited to get the shirts because new customers get ones or get shirts. And then Instagram, free marketing. Take amazing pictures. Just pay good money for a photographer or buy a nice camera and just throw some really good pictures up for us. And, Gary Vaynerchuk, you were talking about his book. He talks about it all goes down in the DMs. If you ever heard that podcast, what he talks about.
So true.
I hit up people in the DM all the time and they'll respond. You just can't be afraid to be like, hey, I have some amazing meals, whatever it is that you want to put out there, whatever product it is that you have, find your demographic and just actually physically getting on there, just being involved with other people.
And the key is trying, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. What's the worst that you're going to get at the end of the day? Somebody's going to say, no, I'm not going to repost your stuff. But
right.
And there's going to be a lot of people.
It's free to try, right? I mean, and how often are you getting response rates?
I would say the response rate's probably like 15%.
Okay, so you're maybe reaching out to 100 people and getting 15 people back.
It only takes one to get it right.
So being okay with the fact that 75, 80, or even 90% of the people may not ever respond, but at least if you get those 1 to 10 out of 100, then straight success. Man.
It's free, like you said, it's free, and you just type a bunch of shit up,
right?
Whatever it is, your pitch.
It's cool.
And 15 bite.
I don't know why everybody's not using Instagram with their businesses. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
It is.
Yeah. Whenever I research a new business or company, and I'm like, at least Instagram is great, but if you don't have a Facebook page, are you even a business? I don't know. I feel like social media is such a crucial part of marketing and making sure that you're known out there, because social media is everything basically.
Yeah. Right
and
now.
So I'm like, oh, let's look this up, and it's just no, or when they have no website, or when they have, I'm like, well, how legit are you?
Perception.
Are you even a business? So yeah, I had a question.
Yeah.
2, 1. How did you come up with Rebuilt as the name of your business? Where does that come from?
I love that question. We had no name for the first 3 months we were operating.
Nice.
And it wasn't even the first 3 months, we weren't even really anything. We had 10 to 20 people that came on and off. It was just a side gig until the marketing company blew up. And then finally we came back home. When I say came back home, we went on a 3-week road trip, a 4-week road trip where we didn't cook any meals at all. And came back and we saw how receptive the market was. Jasmine and I sat down and I was like, we need a name. What can we do? And so we just sat there and on a dining room table for 6 hours, saying random names. And I was like, start saying something. Something, anything, I don't care. And I'll just sit there and I'll start writing it down. And she's like, build up, new life, great life, healthy life, reconstruct, rebuild. I'm like, that right there. That's what I want. And that's exactly how it happened. Just sitting there and forcing the ideas out of our head and putting them on paper.
Spitting out different. I like that process. Just randomly, and then whatever that thing that pops up, that it's going to be the winner, right?
Yeah, and we touched on that in creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
And it was basically talking about ideation and how, don't think about what's going to be right or what's going to be wrong. Just
be wild.
Force them out as fast as you can, as many as you can, and don't stop. And I mean, that's such a great insight.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Exactly what we did. I said, don't even think about it. Just start. And I would hold different pictures up. We would go online, went on different Instagram pages.
What does this make you think of?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And
awesome.
It was, it turned out great and Rebuilt. Dude, I was still I loved it at that point in time, but a week later I started contemplating on if I liked it or not. And then I just kind of realized that Rebuilt is super marketable. And from the very beginning, the idea of Rebuilt was it's super interchangeable with anything, I can use it for Rebuilt meals, Rebuilt athletics, Rebuilt, health, Rebuilt everything. So it didn't limit me because I didn't want the word food in there. So that's how, we put the little meals. In the logo.
So that can interchange with Rebuilt Fitness or whatever.
It's got a lot of room to grow for
it
sure.
Does.
Yes. Yeah, marketable name.
Okay, well now I have 2 more questions.
Let's do it. I got lots of answers.
So I was going to ask, you said when this was a side hustle at the beginning and you were training people, and then from training people, you came into meal prepping, basically. So do you still do the training, or do you no longer do that? Or is that something that you want to now bring in as a Rebuilt umbrella, or how?
Rebuilt, me personally, I don't do any personal training anymore. I don't have any online clients. We are going to be bringing in like nutritionists to help with people's diets and their workouts, like a nutritionist, personal trainer that'll help with all that, to help them, like they don't know where to start. And we're going to be making a YouTube series where basically you can go on there and find any questions that you have about fitness. Ideally, we want to partner with someone to do that, because creating that content is, in my eyes, almost pointless when there's thousands of other trainers out there that already have that content, and we can just partner with them.
That's
so
a good idea. Partner with someone who's already well known and with a following and things like that. Or?
Yeah. It's establishing something new that's already been out there is really hard to do. Yeah. And if you can partner with someone, like you said, that's just like been successful in it and they're receptive to it, I mean, that's more power to you, because then you just beat a whole entire learning curve and use their information, and you guys just leverage each other's networks. Exactly.
And then with that, they come with their following and things like that, and then it's like a win-win, right?
Yeah. It helps cross promotion is what you call that.
Right.
It's crucial, because then both people get to, you get some of their followers, they get some of your followers. Those people get some value.
Meet someone awesome in the making.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
The relationship is, it's what it's all about.
So you started in a home kitchen. So where do you cook now? Do you rent out a space, or do you have your own kitchen, or like where is it that you're making all this food now with so many people on your team now?
Right now we are in a shared kitchen, is what it's called. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but just so for the listeners, a shared kitchen is where it's a open kitchen, or it's a kitchen, and you rent the kitchen space per hour. Yeah. And right now we're taking up all of their hours. So it's like our own kitchen, but we don't actually own it. We're moving into our own facility, which is going to be, I'm really, really excited about, because it's a place where we can call home, and we're getting murals painted on the walls. We're putting workout equipment in the back, and turf, and it's really exciting, because it's just like an area where we can come to and just like not have to worry about anyone else's stuff anywhere. Yeah. So
you can have like your phone and your water bottles and leave your water bottles there.
Yeah, and I'll have my own office, like a nice, like to do whatever I want with it, and it's not like a shared office. Yeah. But yeah, we've been cooking in that one for a year, and we've, because we've been, like I said, we've been operating for about that long, and now the time's come. Luckily, we've had enough reception from the marketplace to be able to reward us with a new facility. Right. And it's, like I said, it's gonna be our own, and it's super exciting, because seeing how far we come from starting inside a single home family kitchen with a single island, one stove, and an outdoor grill, right, and then going to like a couple actual like commercials, to actually having a whole entire 3,500 square foot kitchen to yourself, is it's a good feeling.
I know. I'm like, what a step up. That's awesome.
Yep.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Sounds like you achieved a goal, man.
Yeah,
right?
Create that vision.
Absolutely. So, as far as revenues are concerned, what kind of like hallmarks or landmarks did you set to get into your own kitchen, or is it just something that you decided like once you had enough money you were going to get it, or how did that decision process go? Like staying in the other kitchen for a year.
It saves us more money. It's a big upfront cost, but in the long run, because this is a marathon, this isn't a sprint. It saves us money to have our own facility versus being in the small one, and we get to set it up any way we want for efficiencies. But I didn't think I was going to be in a new facility. I didn't think we were going to have our own facility. It wasn't even, I couldn't even imagine it in my head. Like it felt so far away that I couldn't even advance it. And what did I just say? Infantinum. I'm going to skip that word and say I couldn't even imagine it, because I really couldn't. This was last Christmas, and our CFO was like, we'll probably be in a new kitchen by June. We'll need a kitchen by June, July. And I was like, no. And he's like, probably before the end of the year. And I'm like, no.
Nope. Sorry.
Absolutely not. It was like maybe the end of 2018, we'll be in a kitchen. And then we started looking for facilities in July. And we found one in August. And I've just been waiting for it to open up, because construction's nearly done with it. And that's when we're going to move in.
Awesome.
Very cool. So, have you guys broken any boundaries as far as, goals as far as yearly revenue? We haven't really touched on it. We touched on the fact that you had 200 employees, and, you're doing 2,500 to to 3,000 meals
a week.
200 customers.
So we touched on the fact
2,500 to 3,000 meals a week.
Yeah. So what is that as far as like, what does that transfer into revenues as far as the company is concerned?
Yeah. So it makes, you break that $1 million revenue mark essentially. And that's dating to the first day of operation, which was, starting in the kitchen. And then just kind of going all the way to what we are today.
Wow. So 18 months and you've broken the $1 million revenue mark?
Yeah. Awesome. And it's, just like I said, it's been super rewarding knowing that like it became so organic that we didn't even know we were there until we looked at it. Mm-hmm. And we never set monetary milestones. As long as we were able to pay our employees and pull a paycheck for ourselves and we could survive, we were happy. We're not trying to become millionaires. We're just trying to really just provide good food for the marketplace and honestly kind of create better culture inside of Tampa.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've hit that, are you making milestones going forward?
Now we are. Now we're like, all right, so what can we do in 1 year? What can we do in 5 years? And is there going to be a buyout and all kinds of stuff?
Yeah.
So now we have a year of history to where we can actually gauge a actual what would it be called? Kind of gauge like what the next month's going to be like.
Right.
Because we already been through a January. We know what we know to anticipate the growth is going to be in January because of our previous.
So are you saying we might see you on Shark Tank coming up in the next couple months?
They might be coming to me.
Oh, nice. Very cool. So if you could give the viewers a piece of advice, that's really brought you, through the boundaries of your own mind and your own personal success, what would that be?
Learn to love to fail.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I know we didn't talk about that much, but I think the best thing is I just have massive amounts of failure. And I failed many times in all aspects of my life, between relationships and between businesses and my personal mentality, all kinds of areas. You fail. Mm-hmm. But what you do with that failure is what really develops you as a person in the future.
Yeah.
And if you can learn from that failure and correct it and continuously be growing consistently, then I think you'll be okay. You'll always be okay if you just keep learning from your failures and never give up, because a lot of people, they give up when they're so close. And I'm gonna tell you one story real quick about me almost giving up to where I wouldn't be here today if I did give up. When we first got out of our home kitchen and got into that shared kitchen, we went there and we cooked for maybe 3 hours. And this was just our first employee, Jasmine, and I. And we cooked for about 3 hours, and I was just so overwhelmed. Nothing was going right. I told everyone, I'm like, pack everything up, put it in the fridge, we're going home. And packed up, went home, and I laid in bed, stared at my ceiling, and I just had so much, because I was like, I'm done with this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do this. I'm closing the doors. I'm not going to continue this. It's too much work, too much logistics. There's easier ways to make a living than having to go through this. I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef. And basically just really, really beat myself up really bad laying in bed. And I sat there for 3-4 hours, maybe 2. I don't know. I can't remember. Time comes non-existent.
It was just
yeah, it was like you're in a different zone. And I woke Jasmine up. I'm like, we gotta go back to the kitchen. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I had such a massive I had such a massive feeling inside of me that I was letting so many people down. Mm-hmm. And that I felt like if I didn't go back in there, I would have regretted it. And I didn't know how close I was to something good, or I didn't know, how much more I had in me. So we grabbed everyone and went back to the kitchen, finished cooking. And from that day forward, I never allowed quitting to ever enter my mind, because now, after that day, about 2 weeks later, we had, 20 signups, and then we had another 10 signups, and we had another 20 signups. And just so you guys know, before that, we weren't having signups. We would go 3 weeks without one signup because everything was word of mouth. But after that moment, the growth just took off. And so you never know how close you are to gold until you actually strike it. Right. And if you give up when you're so close, you could be missing out on something huge.
And you wouldn't even know it, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was definitely just, get used to failing. You're going to fail. You're going to have a lot of speed bumps in the road, and just never give up. Just always pushing forward.
Love it.
Wow, that's triple like. Well, it's been great having you on the show, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. So nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Yes, been good.
Thanks for sitting with us.